Is the Red Ajah truly nothing more than a faction of vengeance-driven Aes Sedai, obsessed with hunting and gentling male channelers? For centuries, this has been the prevailing narrative, a stereotype etched into the minds of Westlanders and Tower initiates alike. Novices whisper of red-robed sisters storming villages at dawn, dragging men away to a fate worse than death. Lords and commoners alike view them as rigid, unfeeling enforcers, their Ajah's purpose reduced to a single, fearsome task. But this narrative is a half-truth, a simplification that obscures the Red Ajah's true role in the White Tower and the broader tapestry of the Wheel of Time. To dismiss them as mere hunters is to ignore the strategic genius of their mission, the unwavering dedication to justice that defines their actions, and the silent work that has kept the White Tower intact for generations. This chapter delves into the question that haunts so many who study Aes Sedai politics. What if the Red Ajah's hunt for male channelers is not an end in itself, but a means to a far greater end? A means to uphold the law, preserve the White Tower's authority, and safeguard the world from the chaos that has plagued it since the breaking of the world. To understand the Red Ajah's true mission, we must first confront the stereotype that has overshadowed them for centuries. The origins of this myth are rooted in tragedy, in the cataclysmic events of the Breaking. When Luz, Theron Telamon, and the 100 companions sealed the Dark One's prison, they unknowingly tainted Sedin, the male half of the true source. What followed was a century of madness and destruction as male channelers, driven insane by the taint, unleashed the one power upon the world. Mountains crumbled, rivers changed course, and civilizations were reduced to ash. It was the breaking of the world, a disaster that left humanity teetering on the brink of extinction. In the aftermath, the Aes Sedai of the time faced an unthinkable choice. They could allow the madness to continue, or they could take action to stop it. The solution they devised was gentling, the process of severing a male channeler from the true source. It was a cruel necessity, a choice that weighed heavily on the sisters who performed it. But, as the centuries passed, the context of that choice was lost. The Red Ajah, which emerged as the Ajah dedicated to enforcing this duty, became synonymous with the act itself. Their role as protectors against a repeating catastrophe was reduced to that of persecutors. This stereotype was further reinforced by the actions of a few extreme members of the Ajah and by the political machinations of those who sought to weaken the Red's influence. Elaida du Abrini Aroyhan, a former Red Ajah sitter who later became Amirlin's seat, was known for her rigid views and aggressive tactics. Her leadership, which prioritized the hunt for male channelers over other pressing matters, did little to dispel the myth. But Elaida was an outlier, not a representative of the Ajah as a whole. As Swan Sanche, the former Amirlin seat and Blue Ajah's sister, once noted in her private journals, the Red Ajah is not Elaida any more than the blue is me. To judge an entire Ajah by the actions of one woman is to blind oneself to the truth of their purpose. Swan's words are borne out by the historical record. For every Elaida, there are dozens of Red Ajah sisters who approached their duty with solemnity and compassion, who understood that gentling was a last resort, not a blood sport. The Red Ajah's own records, kept in the restricted section of the White Tower Library, reveal a far more nuanced mission. The Ajah's Charter, written shortly after the formation of the 7 Ajahs, states that their purpose is to uphold the law of the White Tower, to protect the world from the dangers of unregulated channeling, and to ensure the integrity of the Aes Sedai order. The hunt for male channelers is listed as a subset of this mission, not the core. It is a response to a specific threat, one that has roots in the darkest chapter of human history. The Charter goes on to outline the Ajah's responsibilities in maintaining internal discipline, mediating disputes between Ajahs, and gathering intelligence on channelers of all kinds. These duties, though less dramatic than gentling, are the backbone of the Red Ajah's work. They are the reason the White Tower has remained a unified force for thousands of years, even in the face of schisms and external threats. Another key piece of evidence comes from the accounts of former Red Ajah novices and accepted. Many of these women, who later transferred to other Ajahs, speak of the rigorous training they received in tower law, diplomacy, and conflict resolution. One such woman, a Yellow Ajah sister named Morel Berengari, recalled in her memoirs, "The Red Ajah does not just teach you to hunt male channelers. They teach you to think like a guardian, to see the bigger picture, to understand that every action, every decision has consequences for the tower and for the world." Morel's account is consistent with the training manuals used by the Red Ajah, which emphasize strategic thinking over brute force. Novices are taught to gather information, to assess threats, and to consider all possible outcomes before taking action. They are trained in the art of negotiation, in case a male channeler can be reasoned with, and in the ethics of their duty to ensure that gentling is never used arbitrarily. The myth of the Red Ajah as mere hunters is also challenged by the historical context of their work. For most of the Third Age, male channelers were a rare and scattered threat. The taint on Sedin meant that few men survived the madness long enough to pose a widespread danger. This meant that the Red Ajah's sisters had ample time to focus on their other duties. They became the White Tower's internal police force, investigating allegations of corruption, enforcing the 3 oaths, and ensuring that no sister strayed from the path of justice. They mediated disputes between Ajahs, using their reputation for impartiality to resolve conflicts that might otherwise have torn the tower apart. They gathered intelligence on channelers across the Westlands, both male and female, to ensure that the tower remained aware of potential threats and allies. These tasks, though less visible than the hunt for male channelers, were crucial to the White Tower's survival. To truly understand the Red Ajah, we must also consider the perspective of the male channelers they pursued. While gentling is undoubtedly a traumatic experience, many of these men recognize the necessity of the Red's actions. Logain Ablar, the former false dragon who was gentled by the Red Ajah, later acknowledged in an interview with a White Tower scribe, "I was mad. I was a danger to everyone around me. The Red Sisters did what they had to do. They stopped me before I could cause more harm." Logain's words are not an endorsement of the Red Ajah, but they do provide a counterpoint to the narrative of the Ajah as cruel persecutors. They remind us that the Red's work is rooted in a genuine desire to protect, not to punish. As this chapter draws to a close, it is clear that the Red Ajah's mission is far more complex than the stereotype suggests. They are not mere hunters of male channelers. They are guardians of the law, protectors of the White Tower, and strategic thinkers whose work has shaped the course of the Third Age. The hunt for male channelers is a part of their mission, yes, but it is a part that must be understood in the context of the breaking, of the taint on Sidon, and of the duty to prevent a repeat of humanity's greatest catastrophe. In the chapters to come, we will explore the Red Ajah's role as architects of Aes Sedai justice, as silent enforcers of global influence, and as unsung contributors to the White Tower's unity. We will delve into their history, their methods, and their legacy, drawing on historical records, character accounts, and the wisdom of the White Tower's oldest texts. By the end, we hope to challenge your perceptions, to invite you to see the Red Ajah not as a faction of vengeance, but as a vital part of the Aes Sedai order, one whose true mission has been hidden in plain sight for centuries. The Red Ajah's reputation as singularly focused on hunting male channelers has obscured a critical truth. Their work extends far beyond the pursuit of Sidon wielders, weaving through the very fabric of the White Tower's structure and influence. They are a strategic nexus, a faction whose actions are guided by a broader vision of order and stability. To reduce them to hunters is to miss the intricate web of roles they play in maintaining the tower's power, both within its walls and across the Westlands. This chapter explores the Red Ajah's hidden responsibilities, the organizational roles that have been overlooked for centuries, and how their influence shapes the White Tower's decisions in ways few realize. At the heart of the Red Ajah's strategic role is their control over the White Tower's internal security apparatus. While other Ajahs focus on diplomacy, healing, or knowledge, the Red has taken on the unenviable task of policing the Aes Sedai themselves. This responsibility is enshrined in Tower law, which grants the Red Ajah the authority to investigate any sister suspected of violating the three oaths, engaging in corruption, or threatening the Tower's unity. The Red's internal security force, known as the Adjudicators, operates in relative secrecy, conducting investigations that other Ajahs would be unwilling or unable to pursue. These Adjudicators are trained in forensic magic, interrogation techniques, and the nuances of Tower law, making them uniquely qualified to root out misconduct. One of the most famous examples of the Red Ajah's internal security work occurred during the scandal of the False Oath in 978 NE. A group of sisters from the Green and Brown Ajahs had discovered a way to circumvent the three oaths using a forbidden weave, allowing them to lie and manipulate without detection. They used this power to gain influence in the Tower, sowing discord between Ajahs and enriching themselves through political favors. It was the Red Ajah's Adjudicators who uncovered the plot after months of gathering evidence and interviewing witnesses. The investigation was meticulous, with Adjudicators using weaves of air to detect falsehoods and weaves of spirit to analyze the sisters' oaths. In the end, the guilty sisters were stripped of their Ajah affiliations and exiled from the White Tower, their powers stilled for their crimes. The Red's handling of the scandal prevented a schism, ensuring that the three oaths, the foundation of Aes Sedai credibility, remained intact. The Red Ajah's strategic role also extends to the training of novices and accepted. While all Ajahs participate in the education of new initiates, the Red is responsible for teaching courses on Tower law, ethics, and conflict resolution. These courses are not optional. Every novice, regardless of their intended Ajah, must pass rigorous exams on the rules and traditions of the White Tower. The Red's instructors emphasize the importance of discipline and accountability, instilling in young initiates a respect for the Tower's authority. This training ensures that all Aes Sedai, regardless of their Ajah, share a common understanding of their responsibilities. It fosters a sense of unity that transcends factional loyalties. As Morvrin Thark, a Brown Ajah sister and former student of Red Ajah instructors, noted, the Red's teachings are not about indoctrination. They are about preparing us to be Aes Sedai, to uphold the Tower's values no matter which Ajah we join. Another key aspect of the Red Ajah's strategic role is their oversight of foreign channelers. While the White Tower claims authority over all channelers in the Westlands, enforcing that authority is a complex task. The Red Ajah's External Monitoring Division tracks channelers who live outside the Tower's jurisdiction, gathering information on their activities and ensuring they do not pose a threat to the public. This division maintains a network of informants across every kingdom, from the Borderlands to the Isle Waste. These informants report on rogue channelers, potential initiates, and any unusual use of the One Power. The Red uses this information to make decisions about when to intervene. Sometimes, this means sending sisters to recruit a talented novice. Other times, it means gentling a male channeler who has gone mad. But more often than not, it means simply keeping watch, ensuring that channelers across the Westlands adhere to the unwritten rules that keep the peace. The Red Ajah's strategic influence is also evident in their role as advisors to the Amerlin seat. Throughout history, Red Ajah sisters have served as trusted counselors to countless Amerlins, offering expertise on matters of law, security, and internal politics. Their advice is highly valued because of their reputation for impartiality. Unlike the Blue Ajah, which is known for its advocacy of specific causes, or the Green Ajah, which is focused on preparing for Tarmon Gaidon, the Red Ajah has no vested interest in particular policies or outcomes. Their only loyalty is to the White Tower itself. This impartiality makes them ideal advisors, as they can offer objective assessments of a situation without being swayed by factional politics. For example, during the reign of Amerlin Seat Tumra Aspenia in the early 970s, Red Ajah advisors played a key role in negotiating a peace treaty between Andor and Kerheen. They used their knowledge of Tower law and their understanding of both kingdoms' political climates to craft a treaty that was fair to both sides, while also protecting the White Tower's interests. The treaty ended a decade-long conflict that had threatened to destabilize the entire Westlands, and it stands as a testament to the Red's strategic acumen. The Red Ajah's strategic nexus also includes their role in preserving the White Tower's archives. While the Brown Ajah is responsible for collecting knowledge, the Red is tasked with protecting the Tower's most sensitive documents. These documents include records of gentlings, investigations into corruption, and secret treaties with foreign governments. The Red's archive guardians are trained in powerful wards and defensive weaves, ensuring that these documents never fall into the wrong hands. They also review the archives regularly, removing or redacting information that could threaten the Tower's security. This work is crucial because it allows the White Tower to learn from its past mistakes, while also protecting its secrets from enemies both internal and external. Perhaps the most overlooked aspect of the Red Ajah's strategic role is their work in mediating conflicts between channelers and non-channelers. Throughout the Third Age, tensions between Aes Sedai and the common people have flared up from time to time. Non-channelers often fear the One Power, and Aes Sedai can sometimes be dismissive of the concerns of those without the ability to channel. The Red Ajah's Mediator Corps acts as a bridge between these two groups, resolving disputes and fostering understanding. Mediators are trained in both diplomacy and empathy, allowing them to see both sides of a conflict. They have resolved disputes over everything from the use of the One Power in farming to the treatment of Aes Sedai guests in noble households. In one notable case, a Red Ajah mediator helped resolve a riot in Berlon after a group of villagers accused an Aes Sedai of using the One Power to steal their crops. The mediator investigated the allegations, discovered that the crops had been destroyed by blight, and worked with the Aes Sedai to provide healing and supplies to the villagers. The conflict was resolved without violence, and the villagers' trust in the White Tower was restored. As this chapter demonstrates, the Red Ajah's mission is far more expansive than hunting male channelers. They are a strategic nexus, with fingers in every aspect of the White Tower's operations. They police the Aes Sedai, train the next generation of sisters, monitor channelers across the Westlands, advise the Amerlin seat, protect the Tower's archives, and mediate conflicts between channelers and non-channelers. These roles are not glamorous, and they rarely receive attention from the outside world. But they are essential to the White Tower's survival. They ensure that the Tower remains a unified, credible force for order and stability in the Westlands. In the chapters to come, we will explore how the Red Ajah's dedication to justice shapes their actions, how their intelligence networks extend the Tower's global influence, and how their commitment to rules fosters unity among the Ajahs. We will draw on more historical examples, character accounts, and Tower records to paint a complete picture of the Red Ajah's strategic importance. By the end, it will be clear that the Red Ajah is not just a faction of hunters. They are the backbone of the White Tower, a strategic force whose influence has shaped the course of the Third Age in ways few have ever realized.